Jason Spangler, the SanteeSwapper. Got another unboxing, and this time it is from another estate sale company. I never even imagined that in doing these videos, I would have people from estate sale companies kind of discover that I recycle scouting memorabilia and I buy collections from people all over the country. And so now some of them are reaching out to me preemptively to see if I'd be interested in some of their stuff. And so this is the second time this week I've recorded a video in which I've gotten some stuff directly from the state sale company that kind of reached out to me before the sale, which is so cool. Before I show you that box, though, I've got a little bit of an update box. I bought a collection from this lady in California in January, and everything was all settled and good. And then I got this box that she mailed on February 18th. And I was like, oh boy, this is like a follow up. So this happens sometimes where I buy collections from people and then they'll find stuff later and be like, oh, I found this, or maybe they open it up into the box and they say, well, let me just mail it to them. So hopefully there's a letter here from her with maybe some instructions about what she would like me to do. But I'm not going to complain. It's more scout stuff, right? So let's see what she's got in here. And this is a little small box, like a little tiny priority mail box, but let's get some neat little stuff here. Oh, I think there's a letter. Hi, Jason. A few weeks ago, I sent you some BSA patches and a few books and a couple of knapsacks. It seems I found a few more patches. Rather than hang on to them, I'd prefer they go to someone like you who would understand scouting. I hope you can use them. Thanks, Linda. And people, I tell you, sometimes you just like your faith in humanity gets restored, right? So that is so cool. That is wonderful. She just found more stuff and wanted me to have that. And so let's put that down there. Now this is cool. This is Orca Lodge. It's an Cordillera Lodge out in California, and it's just a cool looking patch. Look at that set. So this is what we call a two-piece flap set, where it would go on the shirt, you'd have your flap and then the pocket. And really, this is just something that I know this is weird, but to say, but we only generally see these for national OA conference events. And so this is from the 1998 National OA Conference, and just love that design, man. It's like is the I think the orca whale is grabbing a shark and eating a shark. Hey, it's a pretty cool design. Thank you, Linda, for sending me that. I love that patch. That's super cool. Here's some junior leader training patches, and including one that looks kind of cute with a little skunk guy in it. That might be a little bit of a local item. Redwood Empire Council. This is always fun. They've done some cool stuff, including this guy, which is kind of one that's favored in my hobby. So they got permission to use the Snoopy and the Woodstock Beagle Scouts, and there's not many official Boy Scout patches that have this. In fact, you can't make it out in the small letters. I wish I had my new setup, which I'm working on, guys. I'm going to have my new setup here in the next few weeks, where I'll have a close-up camera. But this actually has Peanuts UFS incorporated, sort of like the seal of approval down here, showing that this is an authentic item. So that's cool, from 2005 Jamboree. And then a few more ones here. These are uniform worn ones. So you can tell that her loved one actually wore these on his uniform at the 2001 National Scout Jamboree. No Beagle Scouts there, but still a cool one. And then, of course, 2001 Jamboree. That's what goes with that. And then a few more orca patches. These are probably extras that he had that he was trading at the 2001 Jamboree. So cool stuff. Thank you very much, Linda, for sending that. And then one last piece, Eagle Patrol of Wood Badge. So it says Gilwell Troop 1, which we all know is Wood Badge training for adults. And so that's what that guy was involved in. So, man, that's a cool, I could have done an unboxing just with that little small box, but I thought it was kind of too small. But this will be a really interesting story here, getting a box from an estate sale company that's got some really old stuff in it. So let me cut the box open and we'll see what we got. So this estate sale company was located in Oklahoma, and there's just a little bag of stuff here. Let me just double check and sure. Yeah, that's all that's on there. And there's a couple of cool pieces in here that I was really interested in, and I was happy to get. All right, the first one. Those of you who have watched many of my unboxings, you will know that I have a real fondness, a real soft spot for getting these vintage Boy Scout knives. And when I saw this one, I knew exactly what it was because not long ago I had Bill Chadek work on one of these for me. This, I believe, is a K-bar. Let me just double. I can make sure I can see through the rust. Whoa, that's a lot of rust. But I'm almost sure that I know I had Bill Chadek redo one of these for me, and I feel like it's an early K-bar, which is a pre-World War II Boy Scout knife. Now, Bill, if you're watching this video, you're going to be getting this knife pretty soon because it is rusty. It is rusty and toasty. But again, that's why it's wonderful to have Bill out in Nebraska who restores these knives. He will get this thing shining and beautiful. He'll probably redo the leather handle and it'll be sharp. Get a new sheath as well. So see what it's got. We got a little note stuck in here. Oh man, this knife belonged to Clyde, Lexington, Kentucky. It was his Boy Scout knife, and this was a note from his sister. Apparently, Clyde passed away in 1998. Wow, he lived to be over about 80 years old. So that is cool, a little memento there, and I will make sure that this gets restored. Which again, if I talk about recycling scouting memorabilia, that's kind of another example of what I mean. Now, you would recognize this if you're a scout memorabilia collector. Of course, the coffin case, and again, another note from the family. Now, unfortunately, this metal, the ribbon is not in good condition, which that sometimes happens. These ribbons are really, really fragile, and depending on how they're stored, they can have some problems. Let me just check the note here because that kind of was helpful for a minute ago. This Eagle Scout badge belonged to Clyde, who was my brother. Okay, that wasn't too much information as far as the year, but again, we know the provenance of that piece, and so put that aside. And then we also have his merit badge sash and a couple of other loose items. Let's look at the loose items first. These are kind of all the rank patches that would have come off of his uniform. He was a position patch here, senior patrol leader, a life scout. He was in the Eagle Patrol. Now this one right here, that looks like a military patch to me, that little star. I'll have to research that, but we have, of course, Tenderfoot Second Class. And check out that Tenderfoot. That is a really, really old Tenderfoot. Hold that. I know I don't have my close-up camera, so that would be so much better. I am going to be moving into a new streaming room, guys, eventually, and I'll be able to do some really nice close-ups. But that is a really, really old Tenderfoot patch. Of course, a lot of those were issued, but I love getting some super vintage ones for the early 1930s. Love getting that. And then, of course, his merit badge sash. So merit badge sash here. See what kind of merit badges we see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 15 merit badges on here, which tells us that these are not all the merit badges that he earned, because he would have had to earn 21 to get his Eagle, which we obviously know that he did. And so he's got a lot of the camp merit badges: firemanship, metalwork, pioneering, leatherwork, wood carving, cooking, all the ones that we kind of recognize. And I believe these are called Type C merit badges. They're kind of the sort of late mid 1930s into the war years. That's the style of merit badge that we had. So we might have another note here. Let's open this up. Maybe this is from the lady. The lady at the estate sale company was super nice to deal with as well. And so it doesn't surprise me. She might have left me a little note here. She was very nice. Yep, just a little note. Thank you, Jason. Her name was Catherine. She was so nice and easy to deal with. And then also we have that gentleman's scout handbook, which actually is in pretty good shape. A lot of these handbooks I get, the covers are kind of coming off. They're really beat up. This looks to be another example of a pre-war. The last date here is 1940. This particular printing, they printed about 200,000 of them. So there were a lot of these made, but I don't know how many of them survived. And then just a handful of pins. I don't think the pins have too much value. But as I told her, I love the idea of recycling this Eagle Scout collection. I was an Eagle Scout from 1989, and so I have a real fondness for boys who stuck it out. I mean, it's not easy, right? Normally it takes 4 or 5 years to get your Eagle, and he stuck it out, got his Eagle before World War II, and then lived a long life. So I'm glad to now have Clyde's stuff. We're going to make sure that his knife gets recycled, and it'll be a beautiful thing that you can see in a future unboxing when I get some more stuff back from Bill Chadek. Jason Spangler, the SanteeSwapper. This is what I do. I buy scouting memorabilia. You can go to my website, scoutpatchcollectors.com, find out a little bit more about what I'm up to. You can also get my contact information. Send me an email. You can call me, text me. I'd love to hear the story of your time in scouting or of your loved one. Appreciate watching.